What's going on, family? What's going on, family? One of the biggest things that podcasters struggle with is retaining listenership, right? Struggling to retain listenership. In addition to struggling to retain listenership, they struggle to put a face with the person. They struggle to know who the audience is. So today I'm going to dive in and I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret to help you be able to retain your audience a little bit better in a way that you can engage them how you might never imagine before. Let's go ahead and get into the intro. Welcome to the Your Podcast Mentor Show with Jonathan Jones. Here you will learn how to start, launch, and monetize your podcast. In addition to hearing the latest trends and the latest and greatest things happening in the podcast industry. Are you ready? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here we go. Here we go. So like I told you all just the other day that the way we're going to be doing things, going to be shifting things around just a little bit. Going to be shifting things around just a little bit. So with that being said, right, with that being said, I want to tell you all a little bit about the things that currently are happening in podcast news. All right. So first and foremost, I want to let you know that this update is brought to you by Afros and Audios. Okay. You can go to afrosandaudios.com and you can grab your tickets for their third annual Afros and Audios Festival. It's going to be virtual this year, but you can take 10% off if you use the promo code AFAUAJJ21. That promo code is going to be down in the show notes for you. And so is the link to where you can grab your tickets if you desire. All right. So now without further ado, one thing that's really interesting when we began to talk about like podcast news, and one thing that's really interesting when you begin to talk about what's happening in the world of podcasting, a lot of times the first thing that we all want to think about, right? The first thing that we want to know is how can we continue to get our podcast out to the masses? In addition to how can we get our podcast out to the masses, then the next thing would be, well, John, when we get our podcast out to the masses, then how can we begin to get sponsors? How can we look attractive in front of a sponsor? So understanding that that's one of the things that I know a lot of people are wondering about, are curious about, and also just different things like that. So today, I want to give you a little bit of game. I want to give you a little bit of game today. So for podcast news, first things first, we're going to talk a little bit about Chartable. Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get it big. Okay, so talking about Chartable on this so what Chartable has rolled out what they have called sales sheets. Okay, and on the sales sheet, what you will see, and then you can share this with your sponsors, they're going to see the average number of downloads that you have per episode, right? They're going to begin to see the numbers you've gotten over the past 60 days, what that looks like. They're going to see the geographical data. So like, where are these people who are listening, who are tuning in, who are rocking with the show? And then of course, we need the demographic data, right? So we need to know what's their age, what's their income, what's their gender, what's their educational level. And of course, down at the bottom, then the average consumption for podcasters, right? The average consumption of a podcast that they consume. John, why is this relevant for us when we talk about podcasting? This is extremely relevant for each and every one of us for the simple fact that when you want to begin to share with an individual who's listening to your show, when you want to share with the individual, where are they listening from? Because based on certain data and based on certain information, you will know that maybe winter coats will, if you have a winter coat company, your winter coats could sell better if you're geographically located up north or maybe northeast versus somebody in the southern sector or in the south or even on the West Coast. But these are things that's really important when it comes to putting something together to show a sponsor. And Chartable is rolling this out with their sales sheets so that we can have the opportunity to where now this information can be shared by a link, packaged up real nice, packaged up real clear, packaged up real pretty. And by doing that, now it positions you to really get towards the bag. So I wanted to share that today just for the latest podcast news. Wanted to share that really quick. And now I want to just go into the content today, right? Just want to go ahead and dive in because one of the things that I've been enjoying here as of late, I told you all a few episodes ago, I was talking about Goodpods, and I'm going to upload a separate video tutorial on my YouTube page so that you can actually see me walk through the complete process of the Goodpods application. But the thing I wanted to really shout out about Goodpods, because I want to break down some of the benefits of the platform, and then I'll make sure to add the link down in the bottom of this video and in the bottom of my show notes so that you can get access and so that you can, watch the video and watch me go through it. And then you can make the smart decision to download the application. Okay. You can make the decision to then download the application. But the first thing that I want to say about Goodpods is there are some benefits being a podcaster. And then there also are some benefits to being a podcast listener with this particular platform. But before we go any further, I want to make sure that if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to Jonathan Jones - Your Podcast Mentor on YouTube. That way you can already tap in. And that way you can get all the episodes as soon as we drop and as soon as they release. Okay, so you can subscribe to the podcast there. So like I said, today we're talking about what is Goodpods and why every podcaster should be on the app. First things first, one of the benefits for Goodpods for podcasters, right? One of the benefits for podcasters is you get the opportunity to, first and foremost, you claim your show. So you want to do that. But then you have the ability to interact with listeners, right? So you go in, you have conversations with the listeners. Then after you have the conversation with the listener, then you can follow them on the platform. They can follow you, and you can continue to keep the dialogue going, keep the dialogue moving. All right. So that's one of the first benefits. You directly get to interact with your listener as opposed to hearing them on an Apple or hearing them on a Spotify. And then there's no specific way to where you can connect with the listener because you have no idea who they are, where they're located. All right. So that's the first one. The second point is they build your audience organically. Watch it go viral. Watch it go viral. Shout out to Goodpods. So I like the way that the platform is set up because you can build your audience organically because you can go in Goodpods, you can start a group, and then based on you starting that group, now you have the opportunity to where every time you release an episode, you can share it with that group. Every time that you drop some content, right? Now you can share it with that group. You can have conversations. You can ask them what they thought about this episode or that episode. They give you feedback and you let them know you appreciate it, right? So it builds your audience. But then the other part is cross promote your show with fellow podcasters. Podcasters are the audience that typically listens to podcasts more than anybody else because they appreciate the art. Understanding that if you have the opportunity to be in a place in a location to where you can be around more podcasters, which statistics say they will typically listen to at least 6 to 7 episodes a week. Why not? Why not want to get on and cross promote with another podcaster? Why not? Why not? All right. So that's some of the benefits of you being a podcaster on the Goodpods app. But then some of the benefits for listeners is this right here. Right. Some of the benefits with the listener is the fact that You get to see what your friends are listening to. I don't know how many of you know people that like you ask them, hey, what you been reading? What you been listening to? They don't tell you. Like they're so secretive. They're like, no, I'm not going to tell you what I'm listening to. It's like, why not? So Goodpods allows you to set that thing up to where it lets you know, it shows the people what you're listening to and also what you love, what you like, what you appreciate. You can even put the bookmark in the episodes and come back to them later. It's powerful because if you're somebody like me, I will find a new show and I'll just scroll down and I'll bookmark these episodes and I'll bookmark that episode and I'll bookmark that episode to make sure that I don't miss it, to make sure I go back and listen to it, to make sure I tap in. All right. So it allows you to bookmark the episodes for later. But then you get to connect. It's a different experience when you get to connect with the host of your favorite show. It's a different experience. You're a fan or you're a follower forever, right? Just off the simple fact that this person connected with you, off the simple fact that this person took the time to chat with you, or it might not even be that. It might just be the fact that you really appreciate getting to have dialogue with people because you can appreciate the content they put out. And they might appreciate your content that you put out as well. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So you get to follow and talk to your favorite podcast hosts. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. And then chat with other fans of your favorite shows. Have you ever been listening to an episode of a show and then you're like, oh man, I would love to talk with so-and-so about this show. Man, I wonder what so-and-so thinks about this show. But you don't know because you don't have a space that was created solely for that reason. So now, what Goodpods has done, Goodpods created this intentionally to where we get the opportunity to have these conversations and go back and forth and talk about different things like that. Okay, talk about different things like that. So I just wanted to lay out that really quick. Like I said, I'm going to upload the other video on my YouTube channel because the video I was going to play it for you all, but it was too long. God, it was too long. I didn't expect it to be too long. So look, as I get ready to go to the Q&A with JJ portion of our show, the thing I want to just take a little time and let you all know that if you have a question, submit your question, right? Submit your question. You can go right here. You can go right here to jonathanjonespeaks.com/mentor and submit your question. And then your question will have an opportunity to be featured on the show, right? I can play the question and I can answer it right here on the show, okay? So submit your question. But in addition to that, join the tribe. Join my exclusive tribe. It's completely free. Right there, just text #tribe to 678-658-3627. You get notified every time we go live. But in addition to that, I'm going to start doing some cool things with that group. So join the tribe. So text #tribe to 678-658-3627. But now we're going to go ahead and slide into Q&A with JJ. And then after this, I have a special announcement to make. So let's go ahead and play our call today.
Hey, Jonathan, man, this is Quincy, and I just watched your last episode, 5 Things That You Learned from Dave Chappelle, and man, that was so value-packed. Thank you for making that. For real, for real. Question, though. You were mentioning creating scarcity there. Now, I myself am a new podcaster and one who's of the Gary Vee train of thought, where it's like you kind of got to do as much as you can, provide as much value as possible to really get your name out there. But you're suggesting something different. I would love to know how creating that scarcity works for new podcasters and how you would go about marketing then since that, abundance of content is not really the hook, so to say. Yo, thank you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Love.
All right. There it is. Shout out to Quincy. So he said, because going back to the episode, the 5 things I learned from Dave Chappelle about podcasting. So Quincy asked, if he's a new podcaster, how does he create scarcity with his podcast? Because ultimately, not Dave Chappelle, because ultimately he said he's from the Gary V school of thought that you put out as much value and share as much content as possible. So I love the Gary V philosophy. The way that I would lean into creating scarcity. And if you all haven't seen that episode or that video, I'm gonna link it down in the show notes. The way I would suggest creating scarcity would be like this, Quincy. It would be creating yourself a Patreon account or creating a supercast or having some form of community. And the reason I say that is because you can put out the podcast content and you can put out as much content as you want, but there are always people that want to go a level deeper with you. Oh, I heard Quincy talk about this. I heard Quincy talk about that, but I want to learn more. I heard Quincy share about this. I heard him share about that, but I want to learn more. So when it gets to that space, that's when you offer people the opportunity to join your Patreon, to where they can chip in $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever amount that is that you say or that you desire. And that's how you create scarcity, because maybe you have an episode over here that you release, and then we come over here, and then there are people that want to go deeper with you. So yes, you can create a group on Goodpods for sure, because I know you said that in our initial message. But the other opportunity would be to create a Patreon, to where maybe you do a Q&A with Quincy, right? Or maybe you do like a group chat just with these individuals. I would say that's how you would create scarcity with the podcast show. Let me know if that helped, or let me know if that answered your question at all. Excellent. And just like I said before, family, you can submit your questions at jonathanjonespeaks.com/mentor. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Quincy helped me understand. He said, John, I think you need to be on a Google Chrome browser. So you need to be on a Google Chrome browser, but then go to jonathanjonespeaks.com/mentor. And down at the bottom, there's a speak pipe button that you can push to begin to record your question. So friends, we're going to get ready to get out of here, but I'm going to share my announcement that I wanted to share earlier. I've been holding on to it for a little while, but shout out to Goodpods once again. Because I opened my email this morning and I saw something that was pretty cool. I got an email like at 1:34 in the morning, but I wasn't tripping because it didn't wake me up. But Goodpods sent me over this. Said, Jonathan, your podcast mentor has made the following top listener charts on Goodpods. Number 2 in the top 100 indie entrepreneurship chart. Number 2 in the top 100 indie business chart. And number 3 in the top 100 how-to chart. So that's my announcement. I'm really amped up and I'm really excited about that. Man, shout out to Goodpods, because the goal here is just to continue to pour in, continue to add value, and to continue to serve and support each and every coach, each and every consultant in the audience that listens to the show. So Goodpods, thank you for recognizing the work that we're doing. But most importantly, thank you to every listener that's played an episode, everybody that's tapped into the show. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And please connect with me on Instagram. Just type in Your Podcast Mentor Show, and you can connect with the show there. But family, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get out of here. But it's Your Podcast Mentor, Jonathan Jones. You all know the premise of this show is ultimately to help you establish your platform so that you can profit with purpose from your podcast. Take care, family. God bless, and I'll see you on the other side.